Hi there, Sarah here from Scattered Pictures and Memories, and today I'm going to show you a mini album I've made with Graphic 45's Voyage Beneath the Sea collection. I just love this collection, it's so gorgeous. So I've made this mini album using the 6x6, the 8x8, and the 12x12 papers. So I knew as soon as I saw this front page in the 8x8 that I wanted to cut this out as the cover for my album. So I've used that as the shape for the whole album. And decorated the cover with some decorative grass, some seashells, and some seagrass and coral and gear elements from Creative Embellishments chipboard. And there's the spine. So this is, I'm calling it my Sea of Wonders mini album. Lots of little fussy cuttings, some fish and starfish. Get that closer so you can see. And on the back, some more shells and chipboard. And I cut this out of the 12x12 and I made it into a little pocket, so there's another card here that can go inside. And then I had these little shell brads or eyelets in my stash, and I thought they were so cute for the cover for the closure, so I used that and a Tim Holtz swivel clasp as the closure for the album. I'm going to do a tutorial on how to make the pages for the inside of this album. It's just the base for the page, it's not the whole album. So on the front here, I've got a little pocket, a couple of cutouts from the 12x12, a fussy cut seahorse. Okay. I'm going to zoom in a bit here for you. And this page starts with a little lift-up flap, some fussy cut elements down here, and just some little cutouts tucked in, a belly band, and there's a magnet behind here for this to close. Okay, another cutout. This is a magnet, so it comes right off. You can stick a picture or card under there. Okay. And the back of each of the pages has this pocket for a little booklet. So I put a pocket on the front, and I left the inside plain and the back plain. And then this flips up. Okay, and I've cut this out of the 12x12 and made it into its own little pocket. I made a fold out on this page. This is a tiny pocket down here with some cutouts tucked in. And it folds out like this. There's a magnet to keep it closed. Another little cutout pocket. And then it opens this way also with a magnet. Okay, this is magnetized. Okay, these I left open at the top so you can tuck something in behind it. Here's another tag booklet. And this one has a secret little pocket. You can't see it because I cut it right in the border. It's got a secret little pocket, just plain inside. And this flips up. It's another little place to tuck a picture or something. Okay. For this one, instead of a flip, I actually made it into a pocket. So it's got one of the cutouts in it. And this I left open at the top so you could tuck a card in there. Okay. Another pocket. And this undoes, and I used the template for the ATC tags and just made a couple of tags to tuck in there. Another skinny pocket at the bottom for some stamps and things. And this is another flip up with a magnet in behind the stamp here. Little tiny pocket to the side. Okay. Added a pocket here and a shallow one here. This is open at the bottom so you can tuck something in underneath. The last little tag booklet. And this I made a flip up. So this flips up. And I've cut out this lady. She's just gorgeous, I love her. And made a little pocket. And then for the back, it's the same as the front with the pocket with the Sea of Wonders, and I fussy cut out this steampunk mermaid there. Okay, oops. And then there's the back again. So I hope you'll stay tuned and see how to make the page bases for each of these pages. And I'll have lots more pictures also in the video for you. So this is the tutorial of how to make the page base for the pages in my Voyage Beneath the Sea mini album. Okay, so the first page I'm going to show you is page 1, which has the flip open here, and page 4, which is the same on the front. Okay, so all the pages start out the same. So this is, I used craft cardstock for the album, but for this I'm going to use white so you can see it a bit better. Okay. So what I did, I'm going to use an 8.5 by 11 paper, and what I did is I used the leftover from the chipboard for the cover to trace the curves for the edge. So that became my template. There. And you're going to score your page at 4 1/8, 4 1/4, and 8 3/8. Okay, and then turn it and this way and score it at 5 3/4 for the first section and the third section, but not through the middle, because that's the part that's going to stand up. Okay? And then we're going to cut out the red areas. You're going to trace this to get the curve, flip it, because that'll be the back part to get that curve, and then cut out all the areas that I've lined red. And I'm going to do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, so that's cut out now. Now we have to do some folding. So we're going to fold this over. Okay, we've left the 1/8 of an inch gusset here, and that'll give you some room inside the pocket to build up and fit in that tag booklet. Okay, so you're going to fold it over on the first score line and then the second score line. And this actually becomes the back, and this is the front. Okay. So for the back, you're going to fold this down. Okay. And that's the basic page structure. Okay, so for the first page and the fourth page, I've made this, just left it as it is as a flip with a magnet in behind. For the first page, I've left this, put a magnet in behind it. Okay. And for the fourth page, I cut this down and made it a flip up. Okay, so I'll show you how to do that next. Okay, so what we're going to do is actually cut this down to about 1/2 inch. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It's going to be hidden. Okay. Angle these a bit, you don't want to see them. Okay. Okay, so now we have a little hinge there, and we're going to cut a piece 4 1/8 by 5 3/4, and I've used a 1-inch circle punch and just punched a semicircle in the center, so the center is 2 1/16 for the flip up. Okay, And you're just going to attach that onto the hinge you've made, and the pattern paper will cover the hinge. Okay, so that's page 1 and 4, the basic construction. There's the flip up. Now I've used hidden hinge binding system on this, so the actual hinge will go inside here. So you do add a hinge at the bottom to keep this pocket closed. Okay, so we've got a hinge that's 3.5 by 1 inch, scored at 1/2 inch. Trim the edges. Okay, I'm just going to use some tape runner. I use score tape in my album for this. Okay, now what you want to do is you want to make sure this is tucked in up to the score line there, because this album uses a hidden hinge binding, so you do need to leave some space at the edge here for the binding. And if you want to see how to do a hidden hinge binding, there's lots of tutorials, so just type that into your YouTube search. Okay, and there we go. So the hidden hinge binding will seal that pocket closed. There's our flip up and the flip up for the front. Okay, so that's page 1 and page 4, the construction of them. So I'm going to go a bit out of order here. We're actually going to do page 3 next, because I have to cut this for page 2, and I want to show you how to do the pocket for page 3 first. So you're going to cut 2 hinges, 2.5 by 1 inch, and score it at 1/2 inch. Okay. And they're just going to get tucked. Whoops! They're just going to get tucked inside here. Okay. And that is going to create a little pocket out of this flip. Okay. Okay, so that's a pocket now instead of a flip up. Okay, and that's the only change for page 3, is to make that a pocket instead of a flip. Easy peasy. Okay, and finally, for the page 2 fold out, okay, so I'm going to take this apart, get rid of these hinges. I'm going to cut this flap down to about 1/2 inch, and it becomes a hinge. Okay. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect because it's going to be covered by pattern paper. Okay. Angle the corners again. Okay. The fold out is 8 by 5 3/4, scored at 4 1/8. Okay. And again, I've punched a semicircle at the edge here. The center is 2 7/8, and then I just use the 1 inch circle punch to punch the semicircle. Okay. And this is just going to get attached right here on the front where that flap used to be. Okay. And that creates the fold out, okay, which then opens like that as well. Great. So finally, I'm going to show you how to do the tag booklet insert. And to do that, you're going to start with a piece that's 7 by 6 3/4 and score it at 3.5 inches. Okay. And what I did for the shape is I took one of the tags out of the Graphic 45 large tag album. Okay. And I traced the top. Now it's a little bigger, but I traced the top, okay, to get the shape. And then fold it, okay, and trim this. And the trick I figured out is cut this straight to start, and you can use your corner rounder there and on the bottom corner so that you get the same curve. So I've just got a small corner rounder here. I'm going to do the bottom corners. And to do the top corners, because we have this curve here, you have to take off the guard. And then kind of eyeball it. You want to make sure that the edges of the corner rounder line up with the edges of your paper so you don't get a weird little bump in your curve. See? There. So you can punch a hole in the top, and that becomes the little tag album. And I only decorated the front of these in my album so that when I add pictures or journaling, that I have lots of room to do what I want in there. So that's my album and my little tutorial. I will have all the measurements on my blog. I'll include a link below. And if you have any questions, leave a note in the comments and I'll check back and answer whatever I can. Thanks for watching.